Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And before we go any further, I need you to pause for just a moment and ask yourself this. Why does your chest tighten when you think about that one person, the one you pretend you don't care about? Because whether you admit it or not, your body has been trying to tell you a truth your mind keeps running from. And if you're already feeling that pull in your stomach, that tiny ache behind your ribs, then listen carefully. This video is about you. If you're tired of second-guessing your own emotions, if you're exhausted from wondering whether they feel the same way, then subscribe and like this video right now. Let's get into the psychology you were never meant to hear. There are moments in life when connection doesn't have a language. You don't say anything, they don't say anything, but something is happening anyway. Quiet, undeniable, electric. And you keep asking yourself, am I imagining this? Yet the more you try to ignore it, the louder it gets. That's the first sign that two people feel something for each other, but don't admit it. The emotional tension becomes impossible to hide. It shows up in the way your voice softens when you talk to them, even when you're trying to sound casual. It shows up in the way they look at you just 1 second too long before pretending they weren't staring. And it shows up in the way you keep replaying every conversation, every half smile, every accidental touch, asking yourself why it felt like more. It's not your imagination. That tension is the mind's way of signaling emotional risk. The brain becomes hyper-attentive around someone you're drawn to. Your awareness sharpens, your nervous system wakes up, your internal dialogue speeds up. You notice details you never pay attention to with anyone else. The way they breathe when they're stressed, the way they tilt their head when they're trying not to laugh, the way they try to act indifferent when your eyes meet. And they're noticing you the same way. People don't analyze someone they don't care about. They don't memorize your patterns unless there's something emotional at stake. There's a psychological reason this tension feels heavy, even a little uncomfortable. It's because your brain is trying to protect you. When two people like each other but neither one wants to be the first to reveal it, the emotional pressure builds silently. Every moment feels like an almost. Every conversation feels like the start of something neither of you is ready to name. And yet, you keep coming back to each other anyway. Have you ever caught yourself smiling at nothing, only to realize it's because you were thinking about them? That's not coincidence. That's your subconscious screaming a truth you refuse to say out loud. And here's what most men miss. When two people feel something but won't admit it, every small action becomes loaded with meaning. The brush of a hand, a laugh that lingers, a glance that catches you off guard. They're not random. Your mind, your body, even your gut knows it before your mouth does. The truth is, feelings can't stay hidden forever. They leak, they slip, and often they slip in ways that make both of you uncomfortable because neither of you wants to cross the line first. One of the most deceptive signs is avoidance paired with attention. You notice it, how they check their phone when you look, or how they suddenly get busy when you want to talk. Yet at the same time, they find ways to be around you. You can't explain it logically, and that's exactly why it's powerful. The brain is wired to seek closeness, even while trying to avoid vulnerability. So when someone gives you small attention but acts distant, they're caught in the same battle you are. Desire versus fear of rejection. And that's where the psychology gets fascinating, because it's not manipulation, it's survival instinct. Both of you are playing a subconscious game that your ego can't admit exists. And then there's the micro-communication, the things unsaid but understood, a touch on the arm that lingers too long, a joke that's really a test to see if the other person notices your feelings. You're both reading the subtle cues, interpreting intention, and every single moment of hesitation carries weight. You might convince yourself it's nothing, but your nervous system knows better, your heart knows, your intuition knows, and if you pay attention, you start noticing patterns. The accidental synchronization of gestures, the echoing of laughter, the way a simple hello can feel like an event. These are the hidden signals of mutual attraction, hidden only because fear of rejection keeps them from being named. The most brutal truth? Most men, when they see these signs, either overthink or ignore them. They act like they're seeing nothing. And that's why so many opportunities never happen. You could spend months, even years, caught in this invisible tension, each of you waiting for the other to make the first move. And here's the part you need to understand. Hesitation amplifies the tension. The longer it stays unspoken, the heavier it becomes, until it almost feels like an emotional weight pressing down on your chest. That's how you know it's real, because only genuine feelings create that kind of pressure. Now, let's talk about what happens when your emotions start leaking into your behavior without you even realizing it. Have you noticed how, around them, you act just a little differently? Maybe you talk faster, or you're quieter than usual. Maybe your humor changes, or you suddenly care more about how you look, even subtly. That's the second psychological sign, behavioral mirroring. Humans are wired to unconsciously mimic people we're emotionally drawn to. The way they move, the expressions they make, even their tone of voice, it seeps into you. And here's the kicker, they're doing the same thing to you. Neither of you planned it, neither of you can stop it. That mirroring is proof your minds are syncing in ways your words never will. This is why subtle tension is so exhausting. Your brain is essentially running two tracks. The conscious track telling you to play it cool, to not reveal anything, and the subconscious track absorbing every tiny signal from them. Every smile, every sigh, every nervous laugh registers, creating a feedback loop. You notice them noticing you noticing them, and that loop becomes addictive. And when both people are in that loop, it creates an almost magnetic pull. You can try to walk away, you can try to ignore it, but your brain will keep circling back, replaying each interaction, analyzing body language, reading between lines no one else could even see. And then there's the mental rehearsal, your inner conversations that nobody else hears. You imagine what it would be like if they said something, if they touched your hand, if they admitted what's been there all along. That's the mind trying to prepare you for a reality your ego fears. What's fascinating is that both of you are likely running the same simulations in your head at the same time, wondering who will crack first. It's psychological synchronization without conscious effort. You can feel it even if you've never openly said, "I like you." That's why emotional tension feels so real, even when everything outwardly seems normal. Your body doesn't lie, your subconscious doesn't lie. Only your words do. And here's the truth that's hard to admit. The longer this unspoken attraction lingers, the more intense it becomes. What starts as curiosity or interest escalates into a quiet obsession. You find yourself thinking about them at odd hours. You catch yourself comparing every interaction with someone else. And the reason is simple. Your brain is punishing you for not acknowledging what it already knows. That is the invisible, psychological weight of mutual attraction. It's invisible to the outside world, but inside, it's unbearable, heavy, and undeniable. Say next for section 4. Let me be brutally honest with you. Most men overlook the clearest sign that someone feels the same way they do because they're too busy looking for drama or certainty. The third psychological sign is subtle emotional leakage, those tiny moments when their guard slips, even for a second. It could be a pause before they answer your question, a softness in their eyes that betrays curiosity, or a moment of vulnerability they quickly mask. And here's the thing, these slips are not mistakes. They are honest signals from a mind struggling with its own desires, trying to maintain composure while sending invisible invitations. Your brain picks up on these micro moments instinctively, which is why you feel the tension even when you can't articulate why. Have you noticed how the people we're drawn to often push boundaries without meaning to? Maybe they laugh at your jokes a second too long, or they stand a little closer than socially necessary, or they share personal details they wouldn't normally tell anyone else. That's not random. That's your subconscious confirming that they're testing the emotional waters, seeing if you'll meet them halfway. And you're doing the same thing, even if you don't realize it. Both of you are caught in a silent conversation that has no words, but it communicates everything. Your body knows the truth long before your mind does. The most powerful part of this is the way tension transforms ordinary interactions into electric encounters. A simple hello can feel like a confession. A shared smile can feel like a secret only the two of you know. And your heart doesn't just notice, it reacts. That reaction is your brain signaling, pay attention, this matters. Emotional leakage is nature's way of forcing honesty through actions when words are too risky. It's subtle, it's invisible to everyone else, but it's undeniable to the two people involved. And here's what most men fail to understand. Ignoring these signs doesn't make them go away. It intensifies them. The mind, desperate for resolution, will keep circling, analyzing, interpreting, and replaying every tiny interaction. That's why people get restless, impatient, and emotionally exhausted around someone they secretly care about. Because feelings that aren't admitted don't disappear. They fester, grow, and demand attention in ways you can't control. So when you notice these small, almost imperceptible shifts in behavior, when your chest tightens or your stomach flips for no logical reason, understand this. Those moments are your truth being mirrored back to you. That tension is the heartbeat of mutual attraction, screaming to be acknowledged, and every time you deny it, it becomes heavier. Now let's uncover the fourth psychological sign, the one that's most revealing and hardest to ignore: protective instincts. When two people feel something but won't admit it, they start acting in ways that are almost impossible to hide. You might notice it in how they subtly watch over you, how they notice when something's off, or how they instinctively step in to make a situation easier for you, even when no one asked them to. And here's the fascinating part. It isn't conscious. They're not calculating. Their brain is wired to care for someone it's emotionally invested in, even if the conscious mind refuses to acknowledge it. That's why this is the clearest signal that feelings exist on both sides, even if neither of you is willing to speak the truth. Pay attention to how they respond when you're stressed, frustrated, or sad. Do they instinctively offer help or comfort? Do they try to make you laugh when you're tense? Even small gestures, like remembering a detail you mentioned once, or checking in at an unexpected moment, carry immense weight. The psychology behind this is simple. When someone truly cares, their mind and body create subtle, almost invisible patterns to protect and connect with you. And if you find yourself doing the same thing, mirroring their behavior without thinking, that's confirmation. You're both playing the same subconscious game, signaling interest without ever putting it into words. The reason this protective behavior is so powerful is that it bypasses logic entirely. Words can be faked, intentions can be hidden, but instinctual care is nearly impossible to fake. That's why moments like these feel heavy. They're emotional truth compressed into action. And when you notice these repeated patterns, it's no longer coincidence. Your brain recognizes it. Your body recognizes it. Every nervous tick, every fleeting look, every instinctive gesture adds up to something undeniable. Mutual attraction exists, even if it's unspoken. And here's the psychological twist most men miss. The tension created by this unspoken bond isn't just emotional, it's physical. Your nervous system, your heartbeat, your breathing, all of it reacts when you're near this person. It's the body validating what the mind is afraid to admit. That's why being around them feels electrifying, confusing, even a little overwhelming. The energy between you is real, but neither of you has given it permission to exist openly. So when you recognize these protective behaviors in each other, understand this. These are not casual interactions. They are a roadmap of feelings, subtle yet unmistakable, guiding both of you toward a truth that has been there from the beginning, waiting for acknowledgement. By now, you should be able to feel it, the invisible thread connecting two people who have feelings but refuse to admit them. And here's the final truth that most men overlook. The longer these feelings stay unspoken, the more they shape your behavior, your choices, and even your self-perception. You start timing your days around interactions, replaying conversations in your head, analyzing every word, every glance, every pause. That mental energy isn't wasted, it's proof. Proof that both of you are caught in a psychological web woven by mutual attraction and unspoken desire. The most compelling part is the tension itself. It's magnetic, suffocating, addictive. It's the feeling of standing on the edge of a cliff, knowing you want to jump but being terrified to take the first step. That fear isn't irrational, it's your brain protecting you from rejection, but it also keeps you trapped in a limbo where nothing is said and everything is felt. That's the paradox of mutual attraction. It's invisible to the outside world, yet it consumes you from the inside. And if you've ever wondered why a single message from them can send your heart racing, or why a casual conversation leaves you thinking about them for hours, This is exactly why. You also need to understand this. Denial doesn't erase desire. Pretending nothing exists only intensifies it. Every interaction, no matter how small, becomes a subtle test, an unconscious probe to see if the other person will reveal the truth first. And when both of you are doing it at the same time, the tension grows exponentially. That's why mutual attraction can feel like a storm brewing just beneath the surface, dangerous and exhilarating, consuming your thoughts, yet impossible to act on. And here's the final piece of psychology that changes everything. The way forward is simple, yet terrifying. Recognition, acknowledgement. Even a small admission can break the tension, transform the unspoken into reality, and shift both of your worlds. The risk of rejection is real, yes, but the cost of silence is far heavier. That silent tension, the nervous energy, the protective gestures, the mirroring, the emotional leakage, they're all signs, flashing lights pointing to a truth you already know. So, pay attention to the patterns, honor the feelings, and understand that what you feel isn't a mistake or a whim. It's a connection that is real, mutual, and psychologically undeniable. You just have to summon the courage to name it, because nothing will remain hidden forever.